And we're back. So another stream. Today's our 18th, I believe.
Yep, 18th.
I remember that.
18th. Yep.
Pretty awesome. And we're going over to the dark side today.
I know.
Very
I know. You can
excited.
tell I changed my hat, right? Usually I'm wearing the Alexa Live hat. I had to change it up today because we're jumping into the Google side of it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, as always, my name is Will, and I'm the host, I guess. It's kind of like a co-hosting thing. And co-host Kevin there. You got anything to say today?
Not too much. Just looking forward to jumping into this side of it. I don't know all the ins and outs like I do. Well, I still don't know the Alexa side of it either, but yeah, it's kind of a neat little perspective, but it's all still voice technology. So I still get really excited about it.
Exactly.
So
yep.
it's just,
it is pretty exciting. And I also am not as versed in the Google sphere. But we're going to try to dive into it anyways. And first up is our Spilling the Beans, which I see you found this article on. Google Assistant can automatically change your passwords. Here's how to enable it.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
So, of course, the clickbait headline kind of got me a little bit because I think I mentioned I've been looking into some cybersecurity stuff. So I was like, oh, is that something good or is that bad? You know, so I needed to click into it and see. And so, you know, lately, like I think it's probably within the past 2 years, everybody's been remote and things like that. And your password managers have gotten more popular. Things like LastPass, Dashlane, even your built-in stuff into your browsers. Every time you go somewhere,
Chrome browser or Google on your phones.
Yep, they're always asking you, do you want to save this password? And I'm like, do I? You know, there's kind of like this chart, right? It's like convenience versus security,
right?
And how you want to go through it. But anytime you can automate things or add some convenience without sacrificing security, if that's possible, is always a good thing. But Google Assistant is like, we're going to focus on the voice aspect of it tonight, but Google Assistant does so much behind the scenes as well. So it kind of has its fingers into everything, you know?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah. So the fact that so I actually did open the article and read it, and it was short but sweet. It explained that last year, Google, for their Android phones, I think it was Android phones, specifically the phone part of it. What it does, it was like a beta group. So it was just a small select few that were trying this. But if you saved your password, so if I go to, you know, YouTube or Twitch or LinkedIn, anywhere that you can find this stream, and I logged in and I said, yes, I want to save my username and password. So that way it just auto-fills it and I'm good to go. Convenient, right?
Right.
It kind of takes that password and checks it against known database leaks or known password breaches, and will let you know. One, it'll let you know if your information has been leaked or if it's compromised, so it needs to be changed. Or two, what it's going to do now is actually change it for you. So because you're always using, right, it's something you need to opt into, which is good, but it will change your password for you so that you're not compromised. So if my YouTube, you know, I have my password 123, and that's a bad one, it'll change it to something awesome, you know, whatever, something more involved, stronger, whatever. My only thing with that would be, and I'm not part of this group, and I haven't tested this rollout like I need to.
Yeah, me either.
And that brings up something else: is how do you really test this? I need like a sandboxed environment to play around with that, because if you're changing my password, I kind of want to know what it is. So you can get into the settings, I'm sure, and look at it. But to do that automatically, you need to be very, and I think Google Assistant is the only one that can really do this. Maybe Apple as well, because they have that kind of ecosystem. But you really need to be able to sync between all of your devices, whatever Chrome browser you're using, phone that you're jumping into. If you get a new phone and everything needs to update again, it really needs to be spot on with your synchronizing. So I found it interesting, though. I see the advantage of it, like I said, but it also kind of makes you wonder how much automation you really want to give to something like your passwords.
Yeah, true. 100%.
And the same thing with Chrome, right? So that's all tied to your Gmail account, or your Google account, I guess. It's not necessarily Gmail, but a Google account, which you have a master password then for, I'm assuming. I just have my email that I know of. So
for me, I have it so only I can log in via my phone.
Okay.
So they send me a code, and I have to A, approve that I'm trying to log in, and then B, I have to hit the correct code to log in.
You hit the nail on the head. That was perfect. Perfect setup here, Will. And how does that work with two-factor authentication? Because anytime, if you want to change your password with two-factor, or sometimes they call it multi-factor authentication, how does that work? So I'm going to get a code to my phone that says, hey, we're trying to change your password because of this breach. Maybe. I mean, that would be kind of the right way to do that, I guess. That extra layer.
Except it would have to be like you're trying to log into said whatever, and then that's when it has to tell you, hey, there's a breach. We're going to change your password.
Yes.
So then it says, it sends it to your phone, and you're like, okay, did you just try to log in? Yes. Did you want to, or what is this, second authentication thing? And you enter it in.
Exactly.
I would not like it if it was just like, boop, boop, like randomly, you get a notification, and that's my notification sound. Beep, beep. Not really. And you just don't know what it's about. You're like, no, I didn't try to log in. No, I didn't try to do this. So yeah, it without testing it, it's hard to say
exactly
how it would be.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that I like the idea of, because it kind of automates that process for me.
Yeah.
But then again, is my password and my security something that I want that automated? I don't know.
And also, I'm guessing it's going to be saved then via your Google, or if it's not, how are you going to access it?
Right.
But I'm guessing that's what it's going to do. It's going to save it in your account. But
yeah,
I just had to bring that up.
We're covering all the bases on this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's neat to see. It's neat to see that
it is.
These services are out there, and that it ties in with Google Assistant, which is voice related. So there are some overlap there as well. But
I actually, at one point in time, started making a vault for your passwords. So it would say the password out loud.
Okay. No security there, or issue there. That's fine. That's rule number one.
In the back end, I was hashing the passwords and all that. It was a legit password saving security.
Yeah.
But I was thinking you would have to tell the user, make sure you're in a safe place. or maybe I guess with send a phone that would work nowadays.
That's true. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad.
But
yeah. Tell the lady sitting next to you on the bus to cover her ears. Now you can do your password. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, that makes you wonder too how that would tie in with something like LastPass or Dashlane, all these password managers too.
Yep.
If there was some possibility there. But yeah, something to think about, and interesting to see how it evolves a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right, let's move into Bean-boozeled or Bean-boozeled.
Yeah. So this one it's called Fireball Game. So very basic name. Is by Evergreen, and the description was also kind of basic. It said there are 3 choices: Fireball, Charge, and Shield. Fireball costs 1 charge, but Shield costs none. Fireball beats Charge. Shield deflects the fireball. You can only do Shield 5 times, or else it'll be unfair. So I picked this because it reminded me a little bit of some of your stuff, Will.
Yeah.
With like Cards of Wonder, there's that almost rock, paper, scissors element to it. And I'd like to see, because we were talking last week, I'd like to see how others are utilizing certain game mechanics.
Yeah.
So let's give it a shot.
Nice.
Let's give it a shot.
So it's called Fireball Game. I enabled it, but open Fireball Game.
Hello. Welcome to my skill. We will play Fireball. There is Charge, Fireball, and Shield. Fireball costs 1 charge and Shield costs none. Fireball beats Charge, but Shield deflects Fireball.
Fireball?
Fireball.
I'm not sure I caught that. You can say hello or help.
Fireball.
I'm not sure I caught that. You can say hello or help.
Shield.
I'm not sure I caught that. You can say hello or help.
Help?
You can say hello to me. How can I help?
Hello.
You just triggered hello world intent.
What?
Okay.
What?
That right there tells me what I needed to know. Okay.
How does this get through?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point because I don't know. I mean,
what the heck? I was excited.
Dang. I mean, I've gotten stuff kicked back to me for functionality issues. Like I'm testing something or whatever, and I might not have, like, the one thing was like a help thing where it needed to be or whatever. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I may have to start testing these skills out myself before I bring them on.
It's all good. I mean, it's good to once in a while have these to show all the stuff that we rant about is still real.
I'm gonna have to write that one down, and that one's gonna have to go on the list. So yeah.
Wow.
If you're the developer, you're watching, let us know.
Please.
I'd really like to see the game mechanic. That's what I was hoping for, was just a little bit of playthrough. But unfortunately, we couldn't get that far. So I don't. And here's what I will say is I don't believe that is a fault of Amazon. It's not like they updated something on the back end that just completely destroyed the skill. that's not what we're running into in this case. Like that hello world intent, that tells you a lot right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just there's work to be done. That's all. So
yep.
We'll come back to some game mechanics though. I think we need to. I'll find something good and test it out, and I'll bring it to everyone's attention. So.
Oh, good.
All right. Well.
I actually just put Cards of Wonder back into certification for. I just realized that I did that on the wrong day, but I put it in certification to add name-free invocation.
Okay.
So you can say, play card game. It would launch Cards of Wonder.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
or I want to play a card battle, or battle cards or something like that. So
yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, any way to get more of an audience or make that more accessible or like easier to jump into. Yeah, good stuff.
I also have one that goes directly to the computer battle, which is Let's Battle.
Okay.
So you can just say Let's Battle and it'll go straight to the battling. I don't know if it'll work, but we're gonna try it.
Yeah, it's up for giving it a shot. I'm curious how that would. Yeah, you should be able just to jump right into that specific.
The only thing is like, even new players. I think that's the only thing.
Yeah, that would be the catch. It's been a while since I've been considered a new player, but yeah, that.
I'm pretty sure I do not have the getting a new deck of cards on that instant, or man, it's been a while.
I know, yeah.
On that intent. So they won't have any cards if they said Let's Battle and they didn't play it ever.
Yeah.
So there's that. Maybe that's a update for later.
Yeah. Keep us updated on that. I'm curious about how that would jump into like that, like right into that computer battle. That'd be neat. Cool. You want to talk some Google?
Let's talk some more Google. Yeah.
All right. So Google, first of all, what is it, right? Like, what is the Google Assistant? And so we have to talk a little bit of history here. It came out in 2016 is when Google Assistant really came to the forefront. Now, there was something called Google Now that was the precursor to the Google Assistant. And Google Now was very limited in what it could do. It was basically setting your timers. There weren't really routines or anything like that. Like set an alarm for this or set a timer for this many minutes. It was very generic, very basic, but it was still voice technology that you interacted with and then came back out and it had a task that it would accomplish. So it was kind of, I would say it was kind of Google's response to Siri and definitely Alexa. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of one-upping at this point in time. So, or that copying of features in a way too. Like, one has routines and the other had like hunches and then they kind of like leveled themselves out. And a Dot came out or an Echo device came out. Well, then what does Google call theirs? The Home, Google Home. Thing. There's like Nest. I think there's a Nest thing. There's a Home. All these different smart speakers basically that they came out with, right? But the one that I think just completely, and this is my opinion, but there's some stats to back this up, is the one that completely owns it for the Google Assistant is that it is on Android phones.
Yeah.
Now, Apple's huge, like worldwide, they're huge, right? But they're huge in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the rest of the world uses Android devices.
Yep.
Cost factors, different features. I mean, Samsung alone, they're the name out there. There's all these offshoot brands as well, like OnePlus, and Motorola is still in the game. I think LG backed out a little bit, but Android, when you look at it from a global perspective, has the market share.
Yep.
And so they put a smart assistant or a voice assistant on every one of those devices. And so I'm sure there's, every time I say something in an absolute, I kind of backtrack a little bit. Like, I know that it's a little bit different in China. They've kind of have their own rules and things and whatnot. But
yeah,
and certain features are geographically limited as well. But you now have a smart voice assistant, and I'm saying that specifically, smart voice assistant on every phone, or for every Android phone.
Right.
And that's huge.
It is.
All the data that you're pulling in when people talk to their phones like that, and just goes into a huge database for processing and just makes that product better. And so I've seen that personally whenever, if you're using your phone and you hit like the tap microphone and then you can like text out, or you can speak out a text message, it's pretty good. I mean, it's spot on. It knows your punctuation, words. It keeps up track with you. Like if I'm saying something quickly, it catches those. I don't have to slow down and enunciate. It trains a little bit to your voice as well. So
that is true.
It really does a good job. I'm impressed with it in my experience, because I was an iPhone guy for a while and then switched back to the Android world. And I've been using that. And the Google Assistant's kind of nice.
Nice.
For something simple like, hey, what's the weather? It depends where I'm at. If I'm out and about, I'm not tapping into, and this is the big advantage, is over Alexa. I'm going to say the advantage over Alexa is that because it's built into my phone, I can say, hey, Google, and then I start talking and it picks it up. So if I'm out and about, I'm out in the yard, right? Hey, Google, is it supposed to rain? Yeah. And then it tells me, like, just look at the sky, goofball. But it gives me the weather, right? I don't have to tap into the Alexa app and then tap another button to open it up. I don't believe, and I've tested this a few times, I don't believe I can get it to be on the Alexa app where I can say, hey, Alexa, or Alexa. I think it's kind of a permissions thing that you have to be in there. And somebody can correct me. Believe me, if I'm wrong, I'd like to know, because I
believe on newer Samsungs, you should be able to have it set as your
default
assistant.
Okay.
Yeah. And you should be able to then, if it is by default, then you should be able to use
just
the wake word.
A wake word. Okay.
But
maybe that's what I was doing.
I could be wrong.
No, it's hard to say. I don't know. I know Google.
I actually I turned all that stuff off because I just didn't want it on my phone.
Yeah.
Mainly, I will only use the assistant actually in the kitchen where we actually have a hub.
Okay.
But besides that, I may use Alexa when I have my built-in headset or
earbuds. Yeah.
But that's still pretty rare. I don't know why. I just don't use
it. I know we keep jumping into the Alexa comparison because they are so similar, right? So the Google Assistant can also control your devices, like in your smart home. You know, it can do the same thing. It can turn on the lights. It can open your garage door. It can set timers and whatnot. So I don't know if you use like the Google Calendar for any of your scheduling or anything, but it can tie directly into that. Whereas Alexa, you have to kind of give permission and things like that. But it can still do it. Finding information, Google wins this hands down.
Hands down. Yes. 100%.
You know, you've got the power of Google right there, and it gives you a good answer when you need it. Sometimes I get the sorry, I wasn't able to find that or whatever for the Alexa side of it. Google, it's pretty good at that. I was doing some testing with it and would do like a side-by-side comparison. So Google wins that one for sure. But making appointments, sending messages, reminders, timers, all of that stuff, Google Assistant can do. The other thing,
cooking.
Yeah. The other thing that Google Assistant can do is open apps on your phone. So, I know I do this occasionally with Alexa. Like if I'm doing a video chat or something like that, I'll, say, Alexa, call, Sarah or whatever, blah, 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 do the chat. But I, on my phone, could say, hey, Google, open open messages and text, or I could just say, hey, text Sarah, but I could say, open this app and do this thing.
Okay.
And depending on the app, there is some functionality there. So I'm assuming that's up to the developer to really implement, but there are things that you can really start walking through inside the app. And then when we get to Bixby, Samsung's Bixby, good grief, that was a tricky one. There are things that you can do that way as well that are built into like the Samsung phones. It'll like, you can go into your settings and say like open settings, privacy settings, turn off display lock or whatever. Like you can really walk through with that. And Google's getting to be the same way. So certain apps, certain functionality there. So pretty cool stuff.
Very cool.
And you can play games as well.
Of course.
You have all the game stuff. That had to bring that up.
Which I still haven't played too many games on mine, but there is a Harry Potter one that I've been wanting to play, but I haven't played it yet.
Oh, yeah?
So
I'll have to check that one out. Something that I have noticed is when I was buying my smart lights and things, I would look at the box, right? I'm looking at the box. I'm like, okay, compatible with, and I'm reading it, and it's like, well, you should have a 2.4 gigahertz connection, not a 5, whatever. But I've noticed a lot that the Google Assistant logo is on the box as well as Alexa. So a few weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago, I talked about the robotic vacuum, the RoboVac that I have. And that one specifically said on it, front and center, Google. And that's why I was like, oh, wait a sec. Is this going to work with Alexa? And so I had to like flip the box over and read the fine print to realize that it was going to work with Alexa. So Google's a big name. They've got a lot of clout, and so they have the ability to push things like that. So, but it's nice to see that there's that competition, because I think when there is competition, we win as consumers. Like that's a kind of a cliche thing, but my only concern with that is then you start getting into like the Apple side of it where you're locked in. And I don't like that part. I don't like having that walled garden all the time. So I like it when it works, but I just don't want to be stuck one way or another and have, like, let's say I decide to switch to my house to Google and then I can't use my lights. I wouldn't, that'd be terrible. But there's a lot that Google Assistant can do.
I just wanted to show this.
Sure.
I don't even know if you can see it, but a default assistant app on this is a Samsung 21.
Okay.
And Bixby's there, Google's there, and also Amazon is there. So
Okay.
you can set it. Not sure what else you can do with it, but you can set it.
But you can set it. Okay. I will have to play around with that. I think I was going through the Alexa app and maybe didn't dig into it as much as I probably should have.
Yes.
I'll check that out. But the other thing too, and so Google Assistant, right? We talked about it on the phones. That's like its big name to fame right there. But it's also on watches. So Apple has their iWatch, right? Well, Google has a bunch of brands and for your watches. So like the one that I'm wearing right now is a TicWatch Pro, and it actually comes built in with the Google Assistant. So I could say, hey Google, blah blah blah, and it'll pull up a search right here. So kind of neat, that it's taking that mobility one step further. And that's again where I see the advantage of Google Assistant, and that it's more mobile. Now there are, like I said, I guess there's ways that Alexa does that too with like your earbuds, or I know they have a Halo wristband for fitness tracking. I don't know if that actually has any type of Alexa functionality built into it, though.
I don't think so. That's mostly Amazon's product, but I don't think it has anything to do with Alexa.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But.
Gotcha. So here's the other thing is smart TVs, right? So Chromecast, there's like a dongle that's kind of like your Fire Sticks and things.
Yep.
That's basically the equivalent of the Amazon versus Google thing. And it uses your voice to control your TV. Same thing that Alexa can do, but the Google Assistant can also do that as well.
And there's a lot of Android powered TVs too.
Yes, there are. Yep. And the other thing too is if I buy, so streaming is huge, of course, but if I want to buy a movie, right, I go to the Google Play Store and I can buy this movie, right? So no spoilers for anybody, please. I haven't seen Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness yet. I'm planning to, but when it comes out or whatever, and I buy that movie, because I'm doing it, I buy it on like Google Play, right? So it keeps it in that ecosystem that I like, right? But it allows me to play it, just cast it right on my TV that way.
Nice.
Whereas with the Fire TV, I think that I would have to jump through a few more hoops to do that with like Movies Anywhere and then jumping in, unless I bought it again from the Prime store.
Prime.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's all about the ecosystem at this point. We're pretty much one for one. I think Google does have that mobility edge, but it's interesting to see the differences and the pros and cons between them. So, cars, Android Auto, right? That's in cars, and that uses your voice as well. So your Google Assistant ties into that.
And I think there's more Android Autos in cars today than there are Alexa.
Yes. Yeah.
Although you can get a Lambo with Alexa, you can't get a Auto.
Right. So I also looked. So Google on their website or the Google Assistant website has a partners, like it's like certified. How Alexa has like Alexa certified devices. Well, Google also has that for their Google Assistant. Okay. And there are over 1,000 home automation brands, and this is worldwide, of course.
Okay.
Over 1,000 home automation brands for more than 10,000 devices. So that's a pretty good chunk.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much overlap there is with Alexa, but I'm willing to bet it's quite a bit. You know, if I was making a smart light, I would want to make sure that I can play both ecosystems.
Oh yes, for sure.
So, but yeah, the assistant, I've used it. I like it. I see the convenience factor in it, but for me, as somebody who's always home, like I go out, I socialize, whatever, but most of the time I am home. And when I'm home, Alexa's with me. So, yeah, I think Alexa's probably going to be where I sit, but I like to keep an eye on everything because, like I said before, you get that kind of one-upping or that competitive edge that makes the other have to rise up a little bit. And so, you know, that's always good to keep an eye on.
Sure.
But so let's give I know I'm rambling a little bit, but let's give a real world example of how someone uses their Google Assistant. So kind of like a day in the life, right? And so this article or this post was posted by Ali Schiffman, and full disclosure, she's a product marketing manager for Google. So keep that in mind, right? But the article here goes into, I believe she works for Google. It's on the Google page and everything. So
yeah,
pretty sure. But so she starts off talking about like how COVID kind of changed her lifestyle a little bit and everything. And yeah, okay. So she's a product marketing manager on the Google Assistant team.
Yep.
About a year ago she started, right? So she walks through in this post kind of a day in the life of how she uses the Google Assistant. And so she uses it for an alarm, right, in the morning. And she sets that alarm to her specific music that she likes. In this case, she likes country music. That's how she wakes up. Then she has a routine. We also have routines in the Alexa world as well. But she says, "Hey, Google, good morning." And then it gives her the news, a weather update, an overview of her calendar. And I think that was most of it there. And then, but that's a pre-made one. But she can always customize it as well. Same thing that we can do in the Alexa world too. It looks like she has a breakfast thing, like a brunch that she does. And this is something that I like. And I need to look in to see if Alexa can match this.
Yeah.
She can say, so let's say she's eating right. She's eating healthy, right? So she has a banana. So she says, "Hey, Google, log a banana on MyFitnessPal." And MyFitnessPal is an app that tracks your calories and fitness and exercise and activity, everything. And so to be able to simply do that is awesome. You know, I really feel like I would use something like that. If it's that easy to do that, I would absolutely use it. So that's pretty neat. She also uses it for reminders. So she's going to the gym. It says, "Hey, remind me to pack workout clothes every Tuesday at 8 a.m. You know, pretty basic stuff there. She can start her run. So she's a runner working on the marathon, and she can start her run with a running app. So the running app is called Strava. And so she can say, "Hey, Google, start my run with Strava." And that's it. It just starts it automatically. A couple more timer use cases. And it looks like she uses it for an alarm clock as well. So that's how she kind of ends her day. So kind of you get that mobility aspect of it, like because she's out and about. She's not remote or anything like that, not working from home exactly. But she's out and about. She's doing her running. She's being social, what have you. And so she can activate those apps, which I kind of like. I like that feature. But, excuse me, just a kind of nice day in the life of how voice can streamline certain things. I didn't really see her looking up information with like on the go, hey Google, tell me about traffic or anything like that. But you definitely could, Google Maps, it's right there. It would tie into all that information as well. So kind of a neat little breakdown, and gives you a real world use case.
Yeah, I like that.
I'd like to see something like that for Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to look into that or make my own even. But yeah, I like that.
To go back to that MyFitnessPal, it is for Google and Alexa.
Okay. So. Okay.
But it does sound like, or it does seem like it's there's a monthly fee to it.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's a subscription or something that would tie into it. Now, something we haven't talked about, and we'll kind of wrap this conversation up, is the development aspect of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how good Google's developer console is. Mm-hmm. Some of the other Google development that I've seen, people talk highly of it. They don't have too many issues with it. Now there is an official Android emulator that I've used, and it was kind of buggy. I had some issues with it when I was building out certain applications and things, because you could select any phone that you wanted on there, any operating system, what version of Android you wanted to run, etc. And I ran into a few issues with it every once in a while based on what I was doing. So I was trying to build this. What I was doing was building this campsite website, but it would take all of your like reservation info, and in real time it would show like a map and where all the campsites were and which ones were currently filled versus which ones were vacant and stuff like that. And it was all done through that emulator when I was practicing, and it hung up quite a bit. So I don't know what the Google Assistant, that's a good question too. What do we call them? Alexa, we call them skills. In Google Voice, it's something different.
It's actions.
Actions, that's right. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't know the differences.
I've tried to build one.
Okay, good.
A couple of things that I noticed is they don't have any APL like. So no great visual way to do things, except for like JavaScript frameworks where for Alexa, it's Web API for games.
Okay.
So it's the same thing for Google. You can do it that way as well for visuals.
Okay.
Besides the normal screen, maybe a background and some text.
Yeah.
That's all you get out of the box.
That surprises me.
Yes, it surprised me quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I was talking with someone that does this all the time, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing to compare to the APL that is on Alexa's side. Other than that, it's pretty easy to set up a skill if you just want a quick skill. It's just kind of like the Alexa console as well. So it's pretty simple that way. It is very it's not code driven, the console. So if you want to enter code, that's a whole nother thing. It's all visual based
so
builder.
Drag and drop kind of
No. More like, it's kind of like the other visual builders that we've seen.
Okay.
But I don't think it's even as nice as that. But it's been a bit since I've done it. But
okay.
So my problem is activating third-party actions. I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
And you have to do it through the app on your phone. But I don't know how to do that.
Huh. So it seems like there's a few more hoops than the Alexa side of it.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It's way easier on the Alexa side. And I think it's they've done a lot better for the developer community to be able to utilize this APL and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But not trashing Google, but I am at the same time.
I understand. So I think what I'll do is I will spend this next week playing around more with Google Assistant, and I want to get a feel for maybe some quality too. Fireball game.
Yeah.
So I will report back. I will test out some things. I will evaluate, and I will give my honest, unbiased, non-judgy, probably still going to rant, or ramble. But what is the certification process like for an action? What is?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm assuming they're hosted on the Google Cloud, right? Like
yes,
maybe AWS versus whatever. Mm-hmm. Can I still tie into Airtable? Can I, have these extra little hooks and things?
You can. It's a little hacky.
Hacky. Okay.
But then there is hooks, but you have to add them manually. I do not like those type of builders.
Yeah.
Just give me a code editor.
Yeah. Right. Like, just give me the basics, and I'll work with it,
But, I know. Like I said, I know you can utilize a code editor and do like the JavaScript 3D frameworks to make games or actions, other actions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I haven't dived into that. So
yeah, I'll do some digging and I'll report back next week. So
awesome.
But yeah, if you have an Android phone, or I think it's even tied into so many other little pieces and parts, give it a shot. Let us know your thoughts on it. We'll probably revisit this, but I always think it's a good idea to kind of keep an eye on everything. So yeah, we wanted to jump into like you said, the dark side a little bit. So
yeah,
but yeah, so that actually, the dark side leads me to my bean of the week, right?
Oh boy.
I know that was a pretty cool segue, because my bean of the week, Will, is a solar charger. So a solar phone charger, basically, is what I'm using it for. I haven't used it yet, but I have it. And it charges, supposedly, it's a power bank, first of all, but it's a 20,000 milliamp, whatever, power bank. So I can charge my phone and all that stuff. And it's also waterproof, shockproof, but it's got a solar panel on it. And so I could plug in my phone, and like if I go camping or whatever, I can leave it out on the picnic table and set it there and do my stuff around the campsite and charge my phone that way. So something I wanted to try.
Yeah, it's neat.
It's got a flashlight built into it and everything. So
it looks like the size of a phone, though.
Yeah, it's big. It's big, and it's heavier than you think it is too.
Oh, really?
It's solid. It's got
it's a half a pound.
Yeah. It's got like the rubber texturized stuff on it and all that. But we're big trying to be more outdoorsy,
Good for you.
Yeah, I wanted to it's hard to completely disconnect sometimes, but this I think is a cool camping tool. So
Yeah.
Looking forward to putting it to use now that the weather's getting a little nicer. So I actually have some sunshine. So what did you pick this week, Will?
So since we were talking about it, I picked, it's not technically my assistant, but I have a Levono, a Google Assistant,
Okay.
and they don't sell the ones that I have anymore. But
Okay.
I did notice on where the heck is it? On this article that you had, the what is Google Assistant and what can it do? If you scroll down a bit, there's a picture of two of the Levonos side by side. One of them has a dog.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, that is exactly what mine looks like.
Okay.
And it was, more spendy. It was like 140 or something like that when I got it. But it is a pretty decent machine, and this one I shared there, it's a little bit smaller display, but the one I have is about an 8-inch display.
Okay.
And the speaker quality is amazing. And yeah, it's just a nice thing. So I figured I would share the one that's still out. I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't find the one I have anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It looks good. Like, it's stylish. It looks compact enough. $50, that's about right for like the show devices and all that stuff for the Alexa world. Yeah,
and
so
it looks like it's about the size of a 5 or a 6. There isn't a 6, but it might be a 6-inch screen or a 5.
Yeah,
Inch screen.
that's kind of what I was looking at. It's kind of got that almost look
just
to
like
it.
that one.
Yep. Huh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I might have to pick one up then. Even if I like my show that I have. It's more natural to me. But yeah, when I'm looking at this, that looks like something that I could definitely add to the home ecosystem.
Yeah.
See how well it integrates.
Exactly. And then also you can just be able to play around with the Google assistants in a different way besides on your phone. So
yeah. So is this touch as well? Like, is yours touch? Okay.
Yeah. It's just same thing as a show device.
Okay.
So
that's neat. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. And it's always neat to see too, like what kind of default stuff's built into it, and then take it to another layer once you customize. But yeah, that's a nice pick. Cool. I'd definitely probably go with the black. I think that would be from my house. Yeah.
See, I like that blue, but I also noticed they have a one with a charging station, which is only $70.
Oh,
But I don't know if I would actually utilize the charging station.
I see that.
So, but yeah, there's that those two are the Levono, and then the only other ones are the Nest hubs.
Okay.
Those are the Google version of the Echoes.
Yeah.
So,
and I've heard the sound quality is good on those. So I don't know for sure, but I've heard the sound quality's all right.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anything else you wanted to bring up or jump into before we jump off?
One last thing is just because I put my seal into certification, Cards of Wonder, you still get you get another day that to play to get a free card for Cinco de Mayo. So hopefully it comes out of certification by tomorrow. If it does, I'll be taking it down tomorrow morning. If it doesn't, oh, then you might get some more days to play and get that card. So that's mainly it. Yeah. So
yeah, if you're a collector, like definitely jump on that. Yeah, I don't have too much. Nothing really to plug, nothing to really jump into. I'm just kind of, weather's starting to get a little nicer, getting more active, you know, not being cooped up as much. So yeah.
Even though it was 90 degrees here, I still we went on a walk, which felt amazing, even though it was hot. But I still just went outside and just hung out outside for a bit just to enjoy the weather. But it was hot. And going from I guess it was 65 on Sunday or something like that to 90 today was insane.
Insane. That's tough to like do that snap adjustment. So
yeah,
cool.
But anyways,
yeah.
Thanks everyone. And we'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Take care, everybody.